You know, there's a little story I often think about whenever someone asks me how to care for their gut after 50. It's about one of my former patients, Helen. She's in her 70s now. She came to see me one morning, not with a major illness, but just feeling worn out. She looked at me and said, "Doctor, it's like I wake up every day carrying a heavy stone inside me. My belly feels weighed down and my mind's just foggy." So I asked her about her sleep, her meals, the little things we often overlook. And slowly, we traced it back to something surprisingly simple: chronic constipation and poor detox. Now, I know it sounds minor. But here's the truth. When your body isn't eliminating properly, it's like a room with all the windows shut. The air gets stale, the energy slows, and soon you don't feel like yourself anymore. So I shared something with her that I've personally trusted for years: a teaspoon of castor oil mixed into chilled orange juice taken in the morning on an empty stomach. Not every day, just once or twice a month. But when used at the right time in the right way, it gives your colon a gentle nudge to let go, and your liver a quiet chance to wipe off the dust it collects from daily life. I want you to imagine this. If you're carrying things your body no longer needs physically or even emotionally, maybe it's time to let them go. Not forcefully, just gently. Because that's how we make space to feel light again. Castor oil isn't magic, but it's natural, simple, and when used wisely, effective. Especially when we learn to really listen to our bodies. Have you ever felt like Helen? If so, maybe it's time to give your body a breath of fresh air. From the inside out. And now I want you to imagine a winter morning. You swing your legs out of bed and place your feet on the floor, and instantly there's that familiar ache, starting from your knees down to your ankles. You pause, breathe, wait for your joints to warm up before you can start your day. Have you ever felt that one of my patients, Raymond, he's 68, once said to me, "Doc, I'm not afraid of getting older. I just hate the days when I can't climb the steps to my garden." That stayed with me. Because joint pain, it's not just physical. It touches your freedom, your independence, your peace of mind. And sometimes the solution doesn't have to be complicated. I suggested something simple, something I've seen work again and again. Warm up a bit of oil, sesame, coconut, or castor oil, and gently massage it into the sore joints. Then cover it with a warm towel. Rest, just for a few minutes. It's not a miracle, but it's a message to your body. A reminder, I'm listening. I still care. And sometimes that's exactly what your joints need to start moving with you again, not against you. That's all it took. No strong medication. No fancy equipment. A few weeks later, he walked back into my clinic with a smile. He said I climbed up to the attic by myself to get an old photo box for my wife. No pain, no struggle. You see, our bodies, even after decades of wear and tear, still carry this quiet ability to heal. They just need us to treat them with a bit of kindness and patience. If you're living with those dull, lingering aches every day, I invite you to try this gentle practice. Think of it like whispering to your legs, the same legs that have carried you through so many seasons of life. Thank you. And from today on, I'll take better care of you. You deserve lighter steps, don't you think? Now let me ask you something. Have you ever scratched your hand just from peeling an apple? Or lightly brushed against the edge of a table? Only to realize days later that the wound just isn't healing like it used to. You're not alone. As we grow older, our skin changes. It becomes thinner, more fragile, like a piece of paper that's been folded and unfolded too many times. It bruises easily. It tears easily. And yes, it heals more slowly. One of my patients, Edna, 76, told me this story last spring. At first, I didn't even notice the scratch. I just brushed past a rose bush. But the next morning, it was red, swollen, and stinging. Then she looked down at her hands and said, "It's like my skin forgot how to heal." But the truth is, that's natural. And sometimes all it needs is a little help. Something simple, gentle, but just enough to bring your skin back to balance. And that's where castor oil shines. It's not fancy. No strong scent, no trendy label. But it's been trusted for generations, and for good reason. Castor oil has a mild antibacterial effect, making it a great companion for small cuts, scrapes, bug bites, or cracked cuticles. It doesn't sting. It doesn't irritate. It simply soothes, protects, and quietly helps your skin recover. After cleaning the wound, all you need is a thin layer, just a soft touch. It acts like a breathable barrier, keeping the skin moist while it heals naturally. For aging skin, that kind of gentle care isn't optional, it's essential. I often tell my patients, we don't have to fight time, but we can walk alongside it gently and with grace. So the next time you get a little nick or a bug bite, try a drop of castor oil. Treat it like a small act of love, a whisper to your skin, "I see you. I'm taking care of you." And maybe, just maybe, that wound will heal a little faster. And you'll feel just a little more cared for in your own body. Now I want you to imagine this. It's after midnight. You're lying in bed, shifting positions, counting your breaths, even listening to the ticking of the clock. But sleep just won't come. You know that feeling, don't you? Awake in the still of night, your mind spinning, thinking about your children, your health, all those little worries you didn't ask for. Sleep, something so simple when we were younger, now feels so far away. One of my patients, Walter, 68, once sighed and told me, "Doc, it's not that I don't have time to sleep. I just don't have the peace to fall asleep anymore." That stayed with me for a long time. Because the truth is, after 50, sleep isn't just about closing your eyes. It's about calming the nervous system. It's about feeling safe enough to let go. And sometimes, what helps you fall asleep isn't a pill. It's something gentle, familiar, like a few drops of castor oil. Yes, just a few drops, rubbed gently onto your temples or the back of your neck before bed. Add in a few slow, deep breaths, and you might feel your body start to let go, not suddenly, not dramatically, but just enough to soften into rest. Castor oil, that warm golden oil, has a natural calming effect on the nervous system. It's not a sleeping pill. It's not a replacement for good habits. But in the many nights I've sat with patients struggling to rest, I've learned something. Sometimes the body just needs a small, quiet signal that says, "It's okay now. You can rest." So if tonight you find yourself lying awake again, don't rush to grab your phone. Don't reach for another pill. Instead, try this. Rub a little castor oil on your temples, lay your head on the pillow, and tell yourself, "I've gone far enough for today. Now it's time to rest." And maybe, just maybe, sleep will come. Like an old friend quietly knocking at your door. Now, I want you to think back to a recent night. Maybe you were sleeping peacefully, and suddenly a cramp in your calf woke you up. That sharp, aching pull. Hard to shake off, and even harder to fall back asleep afterward. Have you ever felt that many of my patients over 60 have told me this? They're not scared of back pain, not even aching knees, but nighttime leg cramps. They dread them because those cramps come without warning, like an alarm bell ringing from deep inside. And somehow, they don't just hurt. They feel like a signal, like the body is trying to say, "Hey, something's not right." You've forgotten me. One of my patients, Mary, in her 70s, used to get leg cramps every night around 2 or 3 a.m. After one of our chats, I suggested she try something gentle massage, a bit of warm oil onto her calves before bed. Then wrap them in a warm towel for a few minutes. Nothing fancy. She later told me, "It feels like I'm sending love to my body." Like it's not just skin care, it's a ritual. A quiet way to tell myself, "You're safe now. It's time to rest." You see our muscles? They're like old friends. If all we do is use them without listening, without care, they'll push back. Sometimes with cramps. Sometimes with deep, silent fatigue. And from everything I've seen, warmth from your hands, a towel. A little oil has more healing power than we realize. It calms the muscles. And somehow, it calms the heart too. So, tonight, before you crawl under the covers, can you give your legs a few quiet minutes? Just a moment to say thank you to the body that's carried you this far. Now, let me ask you something else. When was the last time you ran your fingers through your hair and felt it thick, full, and strong, aging it sneaks in gently like the late afternoon sun? But so many people I talk to, they don't just grieve illness. They grieve the moment when they no longer recognize the person in the mirror. Hair begins to thin, lashes fade, eyebrows seem to vanish into your face. One of my older patients, Elaine, 67, once told me, "Doctor, I'm not sad about aging. I just feel like I'm slowly disappearing in the mirror." That moment hit me deeply, because often what makes people feel lost isn't change itself. It's the feeling of losing their familiar self. But here's the hopeful part. There are still gentle ways to remind your body it can bounce back. It can thrive. It can still be beautiful in its own graceful, seasoned way. Castor oil is one of those little ways. Each night you can take just a few minutes to brush a thin layer onto your scalp, lashes, or brows. No rush, no pressure, just slow movements, like you're having a quiet conversation with the reflection in your mirror. Castor oil is rich in vitamin E and fatty acids nutrients that moisturize, strengthen, and most importantly, encourage natural regrowth. Not overnight, but after a few weeks of patience, you might look up one morning and smile as you notice, "Hey, my brows look fuller. My lashes aren't so sparse anymore. My hair, it's still here." Because your body, no matter how many years it's seen, still listens. It still responds. You just have to speak to it with kindness. And sometimes, that kindness begins with a clean mascara wand and a few warm drops of castor oil. Now I want you to picture this. It's a quiet afternoon. You're sitting reading or watching TV. But after about an hour, your legs feel heavy, like you're carrying weights in your calves. A little tight, maybe even a bit swollen around the ankles. And you think, "Why am I feeling this tired? I haven't even been walking much today." Sound familiar? You're not alone. Many people over 50 have told me, "Doc, I barely move, but my legs still feel tired." And sometimes they're ice cold, even in the middle of summer. To some, that sounds strange. But from a medical point of view, it makes perfect sense. Because after 50, your circulatory system and lymphatic system, those two quiet engines that fuel your entire body, can start to slow down. And when that happens, fluid builds up. Warmth disappears. And heaviness settles in. One of my former patients, Rosa, once told me she had to wear thick socks in the middle of summer because her legs were always freezing cold. I suggested something simple, something traditional. Warm a little oil, sesame, castor, or coconut, and gently massage it into the belly and calves a few times a week. Then place a warm towel over it. She called it a little ritual to awaken the flow inside the body. And honestly, after just 3 weeks, she told me the numbness had almost disappeared. Her legs didn't feel swollen anymore after sitting for long periods. You see, sometimes the body just needs to be touched with warmth and cared for with gentleness. It doesn't always need medicine, just a little time and a little listening. So tonight, if your legs feel colder than usual or heavy after a long day of sitting, try this. Rub in some oil as a quiet message to yourself: I'm still here. I still care for you. I haven't forgotten you. Now, take a look at your hands. These hands have done so much, haven't they? Cooked, cleaned, held your children, embraced your loved ones. But maybe you haven't noticed your nails are changing too slowly over time. One of my patients, Linda, she's 74, once told me I never paid much attention to my nails. Until one day, pulling on a sweater, my nail cracked and bled. That's when I realized my body was trying to tell me something. Has something like that ever happened to you? As we age, the skin around our nails becomes drier. The nails themselves, more brittle, easier to break. And that's totally normal, but that doesn't mean we should ignore it. I suggested a small habit. Every night before bed, take a few minutes to gently rub a bit of oil coconut, jojoba, or olive into the nails and cuticles. Just soft strokes, like a small gesture of care for the tiniest parts of your body. 3 weeks later, Linda came back and said, I can't believe just a few minutes a day made such a difference. My nails don't crack anymore, and the skin around them feels soft again. I've always believed health isn't just about medications or diets. Sometimes healing begins with the smallest acts, like how you listen to your hands each night through a gentle layer of oil and a little patience. And maybe in that quiet moment, you're not just softening the skin around your nails. You're softening something inside yourself too, something that's been hardened by all these years of living. Would you be willing to try that tonight? Because I believe whatever we put into our bodies, whether it's a pill or a drop of oil, deserves our respect. Even something as simple as castor oil should be used with care the right way, in the right amount, so it becomes a healing ally, not an accidental burden. I once met a woman, Sandra, who drank castor oil every day for 2 straight weeks, hoping to cleanse her body. She ended up dehydrated with low potassium levels and feeling completely drained. And I'll never forget what she said. I just thought it was plant oil. How could it be harmful? The truth is, castor oil is natural, but it's powerful. When taken orally, you should use only a very small amount, and definitely not as a daily habit. As we age, our metabolism slows. Our bodies become more sensitive. Even something good must be used in the right dose to truly be helpful. If you have heart issues, diabetes, or take blood thinners, please talk to your doctor first. Not because castor oil is dangerous, but because mixing it with certain medications can create unwanted effects. And for topical use, always test a small area first, maybe the inside of your arm, and wait a few hours. Because not everything, even the most natural, suits everyone. Oh, and don't store your bottle by the stove or in direct sunlight. Oil, just like aging, does best when kept cool and calm. Use castor oil with knowledge, with patience, and with kindness. Because your body deserves to be treated like something precious, never rushed, never ignored, just deeply respected and gently heard. I've always believed the most valuable things in life aren't flashy or expensive. They often come from the simplest places, like a small bottle of castor oil tucked away in the corner of your kitchen. It may sound too simple, but after more than 30 years working with older adults, I've seen the quiet power of this oil. Something once dismissed as cheap has helped people sleep better, soothe back pain, ease digestion, and bring peace to a tired mind. One patient once told me, "Doctor, I never thought something this ordinary could make me feel so much better." Castor oil isn't a miracle, but if used right in the right amount and consistently, it can be a trustworthy companion for your skin, your joints, your gut, even your spirit. So here's what I'd love for you to do this week. Choose just one way to try it softly, gently, and listen to your body. Maybe it's a nightly knee massage, maybe a warm rub on the belly, maybe a few drops on your cuticles. Because it's those small shifts done daily that build lasting health as we grow older. Not flashy, not rushed, but deep enough, long enough, to feel truly well in the most natural way. And if what I shared today feels helpful to you, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Every week we'll sit down together just like this to talk about health and all the little things that make life after 50 a little softer, a little easier, and a little more beautiful. I'll see you in the next video.